I was 2 months into my night shift rotation at a district hospital in Kerala when the incident happened. It was a slow, humid night, the kind where the ceiling fans only push warm air around. Around 2:40 a.m., I stepped out from the nurse's station to do a routine bed check in Ward 6. Everything was quiet, only the rhythmic beeps from the monitors breaking the silence. Bed 14 was supposed to be occupied by a man admitted for dehydration, middle-aged, thin, and visibly weak. My colleague, Maya, had handed him over to me during the shift change. She remembered talking to him around 11 p.m. She even joked about how politely he thanked her for every small thing. But when I reached bed 14, it was empty. The bed sheets were smoothed out, tucked perfectly. The 4-drip hung untouched, still full. Patients don't just get up and walk around without us noticing, the ward layout makes it impossible. Thinking he might have gone to the washroom, I checked both attached bathrooms. Empty. I went back to the nurse's station and asked Maya, who had come in early for some paperwork. "Did anyone take bed 14 to imaging?" I asked. She frowned. "Imaging? At this hour? No. Why? The patient isn't there." She stared at me with genuine confusion. "What patient?" I thought she was joking, but her face remained blank. I described him, the thin man, tired-looking, wearing a white vesti, soft-spoken. She shook her head slowly. Her voice dropped. Bed 14 was empty when I handed over the ward. No one was admitted there today. I felt a cold prickling sensation crawl up my spine. I pulled the admission records. Bed 14 had been empty since yesterday. No entry. No name. No history. Still refusing to believe it, I checked the CCTV footage. At 11:23 p.m., the camera showed Maya walking into the ward and adjusting something on bed 14. The bed was clearly occupied, there was a human-shaped figure lying under the blanket. But when the patient file drawer was opened on screen, there was nothing for bed 14. Then I watched the footage from 2:10 a.m. A flicker appeared on the feed. The figure in bed 14 slowly sat up. The camera glitched for less than a second, just static, and then the bed was empty. No one walked out. No one entered. The figure was simply gone. When we played the audio from the same timestamp, there was a faint whispering sound, like someone repeating the same word over and over again. It was impossible to make out the language. We reported it. The CCTV footage was taken for technical review. But weeks later, we were told the recording was corrupted. We know what we saw. And that bed, bed 14, has remained unused since that night. I was traveling from Mangaluru to Bengaluru on a night bus, one of those long, cold Volvo rides where the AC always feels a little too strong. It was midweek, hardly any passengers, and the bus left around 11:30 p.m. I took a window seat 3 rows behind the driver. The roads were dark and mostly empty. I put on my headphones and tried to sleep, but something felt off. The driver kept glancing at the left side mirror more than usual, sharp, nervous looks. Around 1:40 a.m., I took off my headphones. There was a strange tension in the air, like everyone was subconsciously holding their breath. That's when the first knock came. A soft tap on the window, right next to my head. I froze. The bus was moving at highway speed, nothing should be close enough to knock on the window. I looked out. Nothing. Just darkness and the blurred shapes of trees passing by. I tried to convince myself it was a pebble kicked up by a passing vehicle. But the road was empty. Then, another knock, this time sharper. Almost impatient. I shifted seats, moving to the aisle side. My heart thudded in my chest as I scanned the aisle for any other reaction. But everyone else seemed asleep. Or pretending to be. The third knock wasn't a knock. It was a dragging sound, like nails scraping along the glass from one end of my window to the other. Long, slow, deliberate. I stood up and walked quickly to the front. "Anna, something is knocking my window," I whispered to the driver. Without looking at me, he said in a low voice, "Don't sit near the window. Move to the middle." That reply didn't ease my fear. He wasn't surprised. He wasn't confused. He was expecting it. I stared at him. "Has this happened before?" The driver sighed and finally spoke. "This stretch, from Hassan to Kunigal, sometimes we hear knocks. Usually around 2 a.m. I swallowed. "What is it?" He didn't answer. But the conductor, who had been resting nearby, leaned forward and said quietly, "Many accidents. Bus crashes. People walking on the road at night. Some don't know they are dead." A chill ran down my spine. Another loud bang hit the side of the bus, closer to the front this time. The driver tightened his grip on the steering wheel but didn't stop. "No matter what happens," he said firmly, "we don't stop the bus here." Passengers were waking up now. A woman screamed from the back, claiming she saw a face outside her window, white, blurred, and floating just beside the bus despite its speed. People shifted into the aisle seats. Everyone avoided looking outside. For nearly 10 minutes, the knocks traveled along the bus, window to window, as if something was moving alongside us in the darkness. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the noises stopped. Silence. When we finally reached a Daba stop at 3:10 a.m., almost everyone got off, shaken. The driver avoided eye contact. The conductor only said one thing. "Next time, never sit by the window on this route." I never have since. I was living in a rented apartment in Kozhikode, a modest two-bedroom on the first floor of an old three-story building. The owner, an elderly man named Karim, lived on the ground floor, while the top floor was usually empty. He said he only rented it occasionally to quiet, temporary tenants. For the first month, everything was peaceful. I worked late shifts, came home past midnight, heated leftover food, and slept around 2 a.m. But one night, at exactly 2:37 a.m., I heard footsteps above me. Slow, heavy, dragging footsteps. I sat up in bed. The floor above wasn't supposed to be occupied. At first, I thought maybe someone had moved in without my knowledge. So the next morning, I casually asked Karim, "Did anyone take the top floor?" He shook his head. No. Not for the last 8 months." I didn't press further, but a strange uneasiness settled in my stomach. The next few nights, the footsteps continued. Always the same time, 2:30 to 3 a.m. Always slow. Always pacing from one end of the room to the other. Then came the knocking. It started as faint taps on the ceiling above my living room, exactly at the spot where my ceiling fan was fixed. 3 slow knocks, a pause, then 3 more. I recorded it one night. When I played it back the next morning, something unnerved me. The knocks were not random. They were rhythmic. Like someone was knocking in a pattern. I showed the recording to Karim. He went pale. Without a word, he turned and walked back to his house. That night, the sounds got worse. Around 2:40 a.m., I heard furniture dragging. Not sliding, dragging, with the low scrape of wood against floor tiles. I couldn't sleep. I kept staring at the ceiling, following the sound as it moved across the room above mine. Suddenly, it stopped. And then, thud. Something heavy fell directly above my bedroom. My heart jumped. I grabbed my phone and rushed outside. The building was silent except for the faint hum of streetlights. I couldn't gather courage to go upstairs alone, so the next morning, I insisted Karim check the top floor with me. When he finally agreed, we climbed the staircase. The top floor door was locked with a heavy padlock, covered in dust. It hadn't been opened in months. He fumbled with the keys, and the door creaked open. The entire flat was empty. But there were footprints on the dusty floor. Bare footprints. Starting from the bedroom, pacing to the hall, turning back, over and over again. My body went cold. Kareem whispered, the last tenant, he was a young man. Stayed alone. One night, he hesitated. He died upstairs. Heart attack. Around 2:30 a.m. The same time I heard the footsteps. We left immediately. Kareem locked the door again. Neither of us spoke while walking downstairs. That night, I heard the footsteps again. But this time, they were slower. And they stopped exactly above my bed. I moved out the next morning. It was around 11:50 p.m. when I booked a taxi from a friend's birthday party in Kochi. The roads were unusually empty for a weekend, and a heavy fog had settled over the city, making everything look washed out and distant. My driver was a middle-aged man named Suresh, quiet, polite, the type who didn't talk unless spoken to. For the first 10 minutes, everything was normal. I sat in the back seat, scrolling through messages, barely paying attention. But then I noticed something odd. Suresh kept looking at the rearview mirror. Not quick glances, long, deliberate stares. At first, I assumed he was checking the road behind us, but the street was empty. After the 5th or 6th time, I finally asked, everything okay? He didn't answer at first. Then he forced a smile. Yes, yes. Road is foggy. But his eyes told a different story. A few minutes later, he said something that chilled me. Please keep your seatbelt tight. And, don't look behind you suddenly. I frowned. Why? He didn't respond. His hands tightened on the steering wheel. My heart began to race. I slowly turned toward the back seat behind me, but saw nothing. Just darkness, fog outside the glass, and the faint reflection of the dashboard lights. I tried to calm myself. But then Suresh spoke again, voice trembling. He's sitting on the left side. I froze. Who? I whispered. He swallowed. The man. The one who got into my auto last year. He died in an accident soon after. Since then, sometimes, I see him in the mirror. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. I didn't dare look into the rearview mirror. The taxi moved forward, fog swallowing the headlights. Suresh kept staring into the mirror, eyes wide, terrified. He's here now, he whispered. He's looking at me. My hands went numb. I couldn't stop myself. Slowly, against every instinct, I lifted my eyes. In the rearview mirror, between my reflection and the fogged back window, I saw it. A shape. A faint outline of a man seated beside me, his head slightly turned, as if watching the driver. No clear face, just a pale, blurred silhouette. I jerked my head to the left. Nothing there. But in the mirror, he was still sitting. I felt my entire spine tighten. My voice cracked. Please drive faster. Suresh didn't answer. He pressed down on the accelerator. For the next several minutes, neither of us spoke. The mirror showed the figure sitting quietly, unmoving, head tilted. Then, as we turned onto the main highway, the mirror suddenly went empty. The seat beside me was clear again. Suresh exhaled shakily. He's gone. When we reached my apartment gate, I got out with trembling legs. Before driving off, Suresh rolled down the window and said, "Never trust the rearview mirror after midnight. It shows more than the road." I didn't sleep that night. Last December, 2 of my friends and I went on a short weekend trip to Wayanad. We booked a secluded homestay, an old wooden house surrounded by coffee plants, far from the main road. The owner, a quiet man named Thomas, lived in the annex nearby. The house was charming in the daytime. But at night, the silence felt unnatural, almost heavy. The first evening passed peacefully. We cooked, played cards, and settled into our rooms by 11:30 p.m. Around 2 a.m., I woke up suddenly. There was someone breathing in my room. Not loud. Not close. But unmistakably human. I sat up immediately. My heart hammered so loudly I could hear it in my ears. The breathing stopped. I looked around the dimly lit room, the wooden shelves, the old dresser, the single window with its thin curtain shifting in the breeze. Nothing moved. Trying to convince myself it was imagination, I unlocked my phone. But my hands froze. My phone was open to the camera app. The last photo taken was at 1:58 a.m. A photo of me. Asleep. The angle was from the foot of my bed. My blood ran cold. My room door had been locked from the inside. There was no way anyone could have taken that photo. I ran to my friend's room and banged the door until they opened. They could see I was shaking. I showed them the picture. "No, this must be old," one of them said, voice wavering. But the timestamp didn't lie. We rushed to Thomas's annex and knocked until he came out, half asleep. "What happened?" he asked. We showed him the picture. For a moment, his face changed, just a flicker of fear before he forced a calm expression. "There's no one else on the property," he insisted. We didn't believe him. We demanded to check the CCTV. He reluctantly agreed. The cameras covered the outside of the homestay, not the inside. Thomas rewound the footage to 1:50 a.m. Nothing. The homestay door never opened. No one entered or left. At 1:58 a.m., something strange happened. A flicker, less than a second. The camera glitched, showing static. When the video resumed, a faint shadow could be seen near my window. Not a person. More like a human-shaped blur. It lasted only 2 frames. Thomas paused the footage. "This is nothing," he whispered. "Just fog. Insects. Camera error." But his hands were shaking. We packed our bags immediately, refusing to stay another minute. Thomas didn't stop us. On the drive back, I checked the photo again, staring at every corner. The more I looked, the worse it got. Because in the dark background behind my sleeping figure, half hidden near the window, I noticed something I hadn't seen before. A hand. Just the outline of fingers resting on the wooden frame. As if someone, or something, had been watching me from the shadows. When we reached home, I deleted the photo. But sometimes, late at night, I still feel the same cold presence in my room. And I wonder if the camera caught a second picture before I woke up.